In 1971, Pakistan was split into west and east, separated by 2,000 kilometers of Indian territory. To move troops, they relied on a singular flight path over Indian airspace. But intelligence intercepted a terrifying message. 40 Pakistani planes, backed by China, were preparing to cross. Tensions were already boiling. The local population in East Pakistan was openly revolting against the West. Pakistani leaders blamed India for the uprising, stoking fierce anti-India protests in the streets. Intelligence confirmed that India had exactly 10 days before a massive, coordinated invasion hit them from both sides. To survive, they had to find a way to sever that aerial artery. The most effective military response would be shutting down the sky, denying all Pakistani planes permission to enter Indian airspace immediately. But there was a legal barrier. India was strictly bound by the Tashkent Agreement, a post-war treaty that explicitly guaranteed overflight rights between the two nations. Violating a UN-brokered treaty without immediate justified cause carries severe consequences. India would face crippling international sanctions that would collapse its economy. The government was trapped. If they waited, the invasion force would arrive. If they shut down unprovoked, they faced global diplomatic isolation. Since India could not legally close the airspace on its own, intelligence operatives realized they had to artificially engineer a situation where Pakistan forced their hand. The opportunity surfaced far away from the border when police arrested a 17-year-old Kashmiri separatist. Under interrogation, he confessed that he and his cousin were plotting to hijack an Indian commercial airplane. Standard law enforcement protocol dictates locking them away immediately, but Indian intelligence stepped in. They realized these two amateur teenagers were the key needed to spring their geopolitical trap. The spies radically changed their strategy. Instead of preventing the crime, they decided to secretly help the teenagers pull it off, supplying them with a fake grenade and a replica gun to ensure they succeeded. Orchestrating an act of terror on your own soil carries staggering risk. If the international community discovered the Indian government armed its own hijackers, the diplomatic fallout would be ruinous. To legally break the international treaty, India had to execute a flawless act of war against itself, leaving absolutely no government fingerprints behind. To prepare the trap, India selected the Ganga, an outdated, decommissioned Fokker Friendship propeller plane that the airline could safely afford to lose. They also heavily curated the passenger manifest. Instead of ordinary civilians, the flight was entirely populated with 30 highly trained undercover Indian intelligence agents. As the plane took off, these agents sat quietly in their seats, posing as ordinary travelers. They deliberately allowed the two teenagers to pull out their fake weapons and commandeer the aircraft unchallenged. The hijackers forced the pilot to divert the flight. The Ganga's radar track hooked sharply westward, leaving domestic airspace and crossing directly into hostile Pakistani territory. Under the guise of a national crisis, Indian intelligence had delivered a Trojan horse straight into the lap of their enemy. The plane made an emergency landing in Lahore, quickly becoming a global media circus. The hijackers stepped onto the tarmac and declared a massive victory for their separatist cause. The Pakistani government, represented by negotiator Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, officially played the role of neutral peacekeepers. Privately, they were thrilled by the international humiliation India appeared to be suffering. The 30 Indian agents were moved to a heavily guarded hotel in Lahore. Inside, the situation was precarious. The agents had to maintain their terrified civilian covers, while Pakistani police actively searched for spies among them. Using the hotel's payphones, the agents managed to place coded calls back to New Delhi, organizing their own safe extraction just before their covers were blown. Out on the tarmac, the climax arrived. Boldened by their perceived power and manipulated by the situation, the hijackers finally evacuated the aircraft and set the empty Ganga plane on fire in front of the world's cameras. By burning that plane, the hijackers, and by extension the state of Pakistan, handed India the exact legal weapon they desperately needed. In international law, the destruction of a commercial airliner on foreign soil is a textbook act of state-sponsored terrorism. India struck immediately. Citing the severe security threat from this terrorist act, the Indian government shuttered its airspace to all Pakistani flights indefinitely. The logistical impact was devastating. The 40 Pakistani military reinforcement planes were grounded. Their vital supply line was instantly and permanently severed. Strategic panic rippled through the high command in West Pakistan. They realized their eastern forces were now completely isolated, surrounded, and doomed. By exploiting this legal loophole, India neutralized a massive invasion before it ever began, bypassing the need for a direct act of military aggression. When the actual war broke out months later, Pakistan's Eastern Front was entirely starved of reinforcements and logistical support. The Pakistani army faced a rapid collapse. They were forced into a total surrender, handing India a historic victory in just 13 days. The ultimate result was the fracturing of Pakistan and the creation of the independent nation of Bangladesh. Executing a high-stakes geopolitical gambit of this scale required immense political resolve from Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, who authorized the plan knowing any misstep would ruin India's standing on the world stage. The 1971 war was decided long before the first tanks moved. It was won through a masterstroke of intelligence that used a staged hijacking to legally redraw the map of the region.